crazy. It's cracked here. It stinks. Better?
With Hurricane Irma boats tossed. Here we are at this marina.
Hi, my name's Colin. I used to be a chief engineer on super yachts, but gave it all up to buy a hurricane-damaged Lagoon 450. My friends and I are fixing it up as we go, and are determined to circumnavigate the entire planet. So subscribe if you want some inspiration to live life to the fullest. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did. So what are you waiting for?
How much stuff do you think we're going to have to break and can't reuse?
So we've officially started the repairs. We're here in Linton Bay. What we got to do is start exposing these bulkheads. It's the first thing we have to do. There's a crack in the bulkhead here. Major operation happening here. So day one.
You just grab that screw.
Watch this snap in half. So the most important thing is we don't know if we're going to be putting this back together in 2 months or 6 months. So we need to label everything. We'll label this starboard forward cabin. We'll label that as the top, and we'll say it's the aft one. Label it all, and then we'll know how to put it back together. And the problem is they've also glued it. So we're going to break so much shit doing this, but what can you do?
Hey, what can you do? It's not ideal, but we'll make it work.
Alright guys, look at what we've got to deal with here. It's a major jigsaw puzzle, the way that they've put these cabins together. They've basically made the hull, and then they've assembled these whole cabins somewhere else, and then they've dropped them into the cabin and then put the deck on top. So we need to get at this bulkhead behind me here, and it's damn near impossible without ripping the entire cabin out. And so instead of doing that, we're going to make one big sacrificial cut, and it's going to be down this joint here, and that's going to separate, hopefully that's going to separate it for us to be able to get this piece here out, so that we can access this bulkhead and do the repairs. So otherwise we have to take this piece here, separate this from the bed, separate this whole wall from that mirror wall, and in the corner there all the screws are hidden because it was assembled before it was in here. All the screws are behind the wall up against the fiberglass, so there's absolutely no way to get those screws out. So it's just been an absolute nightmare. So we're going to try and get into this corner here, cut it as close to the corner as possible with a saber saw or a reciprocating saw. And then when we come to put it back together, we can put a batten behind this wall, screw that to that batten, and then just put like a nice quarter round or something in there to cover up our ghastly cut that we're about to put in it. There's no other way. The other thing is all of this stuff is slotted into each other. So even if we could get the screws out, this is slotted into that, this is slotted into the bed, it's also slotted up into this. It's all slotted together, so we're cutting it. We're also, oh, you're filming sideways. What's that? Yeah. There's also probably going to be screws in here hidden. So we're using a wood blade here, but when we come across a stainless screw, we'll have to change the blade over. This is crazy. It's already a screw. I cut for about 4 seconds and then came across a stainless screw. It's going to be no good for the blade. So this is actually hidden. This has got some white panels on top of it. So this one I'm going to cut over here and just try to skip the screws. And then up here, I'll have to get into the corner and we'll have some screws to deal with. fucking stink. Oh.
What the nearly fell down the hole.
This was actually given to us by one of our Patreons, Jeremy. Awesome tool, we've used it so much. Cheers, brother. Woo! Oh, fuck. Oh, well, that was good. Okay, so this wall is now separated. It's obviously attached all in that corner, but it's all loose. So we're gonna leave this. We don't need to get at any of this. We need to get behind here. So now it's free. It's just this little cupboard here holding us in. Again, everything's slotted together. So this is probably slotted into the floor here. So we'll try to get it up a little bit. See if it actually moves. Okay, we're out. See how it's all slotted together? So we had to completely destroy this one. Oh, and it was glued. This was glued to that, screwed to that, slotted in together. Oh shit on the lens. Better? There we have it, boys and girls. Cracking our bulkhead. The whole hull has come outwards. It's cracked here. And this is slid up slightly. The whole thing needs to be repaired here. So the whole boat, the whole hull has gone like that. Cracked it there and cracked it here. This section here is what stops the hull from going like that. So a lot of work to do, but at least we can get to it now.
Is it going to be painful?
So we've been invited to go foil boarding behind the dinghy. We've only done it once. Last time we did it was with Brady off Sailing Delos, SV Delos. He showed us how to do it, but we only did it a couple of times. So, and he had straps on his board, so this board's got no straps on it. So let's see what it's like. Looks a lot easier than it is. Hey guys, this is Renee from SV Blue Pearl. They've actually also got a sailing channel themselves. They're sailing around the world with their two girls. And he's what used to be an
electronic engineer, yeah.
Right.
So fixing stuff.
Perfect. And so as you know, we got struck by lightning and we've lost pretty much all of our Ray Marine gear. So Renee's kindly offered to do some troubleshooting with us. So the first thing I did, Renee, this morning was I did a very, very basic schematic of our system.
Yeah.
And we have nothing working. The chart plotter gets power,
Yeah.
but everything else. So from my understanding, there could be even just one component sort of corrupting the whole system and making it not work. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's good. The thing is, the backbone needs to get 12 volts to work.
Yeah.
Normally the 12 volts from the backbone is supplied by the autopilot,
Yeah.
and that powers all of these things, and that powers all your ST70 clocks. So Maybe the autopilot's broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, no 12 volt out, so we're probably gonna measure that first.
Yeah.
If it's broken, we can connect up this 12 volt cable directly to the backbone and see if the other things start to work and communicate again.
Yeah. So we've just removed the autopilot computer.
Yeah.
It was giving 12 volts to the backbone, but not giving any information. So what happened when we fed power into the system where the autopilot goes, the cable got really hot and we weren't getting any power here. This is getting power from the nav desk. Plug that into our distribution block here, and I felt this get really hot. I unplugged it and the end was melted, and then I saw like a red hot terminal there, like, and you can smell the burnt plastic. So what we just figure out, Renee?
Lightning struck, took out the wind, the little wind inverter part. It took out part of the N2K backbone. We replaced the 5 connector, now that works again. We then connected the autopilot to an older Enemia control head that we still had. Now that works. So tomorrow or the day after, we're going to take one of these converters that I still have on the boat, try to connect the old Enemia to the new N2K and see if we can get that to work with each other.
So we're basically just utilizing a different C-Talk outlet of the autopilot.
Yes.
And converting that, hopefully, to reuse my existing control head.
Exactly, yeah.
It's good news, thank you.
Making progress.
Okay, so what's just happened?
So what we did, we plundered Blue Pearl for an STNG converter that converts C-Talk 2 into STNG, and now the autopilot works again. So the autopilot computer seems to work.
So we got autopilot working, we got the feedback working. So when we turn to port, we see the rudder turning to port, and the compass is working because it's saying we're heading 26 degrees.
Yeah.
True. So how much are these converters?
I just checked on Amazon and they're 88 bucks.
So for $88, our autopilot appears to be working again.
Correct.
That is amazing news. So that's a huge result. Nice
I'm
work.
happy for you. And it was a massive hit and just sparks flying everywhere, and we couldn't make out exactly which boat it was.
Yeah, crazy. So this is what we got to deal with being here in Panama in the wet season. Bulkhead is cracked here. That's all the repairs we have to do along here.
Come to a stop.